Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC on ESPN Chiesa versus Magny. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first fight on the prelims. And then we're going to go into our main card after that. And yes, a full card of predictions. Not just main card, not just prelims, but the full card. So in our first fight, this fight's not fully on the card yet. We're not sure, but it's announced. I'm going to predict it anyway. And I've already predicted it in the past. But we have a bout in the bantamweight division. Nurmagomedov versus Sergey Morozov. So I predicted this fight before. And how I see this fight right here, I just see a battle of two fighters who have similar styles. I just flat out think Nurmagomedov is better in every area. He slips his kicks in better. His defense is better. His footwork is better. And he's just more relentless and wrestles at a higher level. Like Sergey Morozov can do some of the similar things, but there's more gaps between them. Like when Nurmagomedov literally just blends his striking and his wrestling together all together. It's like there's gaps in between Morozov's striking and his grappling, whereas Nurmagomedov will throw a overhand or throw a kick, throw a spinning kick, and then not off a spinning kick, but like a high kick. He'll do a two-punch combination and then throw a kick, and he'll duck under and level change, all set up to cover that range, then get you into grappling range. He'll blend it together nice and smooth, whereas Morozov, there's a lot of gap. And then they're also going backwards. So Sergey Morozov, a lot of times, his footwork leads him to go backward, leaves his chin open, allow him to get cracked. But in this fight, I really think Nurmagomedov just too much and just a better version of Morozov. Not the same people, but just better in every area, in my opinion. Both solid fighters, but Nurmagomedov just better, and I feel like he just leads his dance and dominates this fight. So in this fight, I have Nurmagomedov via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Victoria Leonardo versus Manon Fiorot. And just looking at this fight right here, this is another straight up prediction. I just think Fiorot just bigger, stronger. They're both 30, so it's no youth advantage. There's no age. They're both 30. I guess really MMA prime age for anyone. But I just think they both do similar stuff in a way. But Fiorot is a much more technical striker. She's much physicaler. And Leonardo, she's not really a strong fighter. She's not super technical. I think Fiorot's more stronger than her. I mean, she's stronger than her. She's bigger than her. And she's more technical. She hits harder. And Leonardo is just open for a lot of things. I think Fiorot open for punches. She don't got the best head movement, but neither does Leonardo. And she got pillow hands. Well, for the most part, when she's fighting, unless she's fighting some lower tier competition, but against Fiorot, Fiorot is a much better striker, bigger, stronger. I think she could bully around the cage. And then she catch her head kicks. And also Leonardo's open for head kicks too. Like she just leans the head back way too much without moving them feet. I think Fiorot just bullies her around the cage. Then in the second round catches with a head kick and finishes her off in that second round. So in this fight, I have Manon Fiorot via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Mike Davis versus Mason Jones. So Mason Jones is coming from that he's looking like a lot of these Welsh fighters that's coming up. Or that have been like Brett Johns and a lot of other people coming up after Brett Johns, where they got solid boxing. They might not be like BJJ world champion level, but they are very solid, savvy wrestlers, very savvy grapplers, good transitions. They're like MMA bred grapplers, like they're very solid MMA grapplers, and they could catch even some BJJ champions submissions as Brett Johns did at one point. So no slouch in the grappling at all. Very well-rounded fighter. Fighter very dangerous and is good in every area. We're going against Mike Davis. I think Jones is actually coming up a weight class. I think he's really a 145er fighting at 155. So not only will it just be a weight class thing, I think Mike Davis is actually bigger than him. Not just a fact, because some people be at bigger weight classes, but they don't actually be bigger. Mike Davis is actually pretty solid lightweight. So he'll be bigger, he'll be taller, he'll be longer. I think his boxing is better. And he has a wrestling background, so I feel like he can definitely stuff Jones's takedowns and keep this fight on the feet. And maybe even mixing some takedowns of his own if needed. I think Davis is more versatile on the feet, longer, stronger, packs more power, more creative, more versatile. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. It'll be a solid, scrappy fight. And Davis definitely can't get too lax out there, because a guy like Jones is going to be to push that same pace for a long time. I know Davis can as well, but he can't ever get lax. He got to keep the momentum, keep the front foot. I mean, well, at least keep leading the dance. He got to be in control of this fight. If you let this fight get out of control, a guy like Jones will not let you get it back. So Davis got to be in control of this fight, at least through 2 rounds, or because if he takes off the gas at any point in this fight, a guy like Jones is going to take the gas and never let up. So, but I think Mike Davis has this one. He's bigger. longer, stronger, packs more power, more versatile as far as on the feet, more creative, and I think that will be enough, especially in this fight right here. I don't think he stops Jones, but I think it's a very exciting decision for both men, but Davis getting his hand raised. So in this fight, I have Mike Davis via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Francisco Figueiredo versus Jerome Rivera. So you have the brother of Davison Figueiredo versus Jerome Rivera. Now I really have no tape on Figueiredo, or the brother of Figueiredo, or yeah, he's Figueiredo too, but yeah, I don't have no tape on him really at all. You got Rivera. I look at his resume, pretty decent, but it's still hard to judge. You go against Rivera, but I'm going to judge based off who his brother is. So it's not the best prediction, and don't really lean to it. But Rivera, like, usually you don't really lean to people's brothers, because a lot of times the brother never is nearly as good as the other brother was. The younger brother or the older brother, the brother that is the true star, the other one is typically far from it. But yeah, so it's kind of hard to judge. But I'm gonna say he's bigger than his brother. Well, they have him the same weight class right now. At first he wasn't, but yeah. Well, he's a little bit taller, a little bit bulking the brother, so I expect the same power, expect a lot of the same grappling skills. So I feel like he can definitely hold his own with Jerome Rivera and grab skills. And nothing about Rivera. I mean, like later on, this fight goes on, depending on how this fight looks for him, I'm probably not going to lean to him as much because, like I said, you kind of expect the brother to fall short or the sister to fall short or whoever to fall short. But for this one, I'm going to lean to him because Rivera has a glass chin. He could be very technical. He could be out there long, dangerous, but his body and his chin are made of cheap plastic, and his chin is made of glass. So that just need to touch that chin. I think Figueiredo can touch that, and I think Figueiredo can grapple with him. And I think Figueiredo definitely get in position and land on that power on the chin. All he needs some power and some accuracy, and he's not like a small fighter, so he can definitely get in range. It won't be that difficult to get in range and find that chin. So I'm predicting a first round knockout for Figueiredo. So in this fight, I have Francisco Figueiredo via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the middleweight division, Dolce Lungiambula versus Marcus Perez. And this one right here, Perez, like every other Perez fight, in his last fight, he tried to get active and he got caught and got knocked out. But I think in this fight, he's going to go back to being his passive style and allow a guy like Lungiambula, a powerful fighter, solid grappler, or solid judoka with heavy hands, to just push him on the back foot and just step off the gas and, just backpedal and move, smile, and throw a couple kicks here and there and just be too comfortable on the back foot. I guess especially at that last fight when he got knocked out. He tried to do something different and got knocked out. So go back to his passive style, and that passivity is going to allow Lungiambula to take the front, lead the dance throughout the fight, land some big shots, push him back, and him just simply not be active enough or giving much back, but doing enough to stay in the fight and not get knocked out. And I see Lungiambula beating him to a decision. So in this fight, I got Dolce Lungiambula via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Mudaerji versus Mudaerji versus Zaruk Adashev. And look at this one right here. Mudaerji's taller, he's longer, I think he's more accurate, more sharp, and less there's less gaps or there's less wind up, less movement. That's what it is, less movements. And Adashev for that pretty decent to high level of kickboxing. But I think Mudaerji is the better striker. I think Adashev does a lot of big overhand, big, explosive type movements, or big, heavy type. His movements are very heavy. He got some good fluidity in his kicks, in his spinning kicks, but everything's big wind up. Whereas we saw Mudaerji's last fight against Malcolm Gordon, just little inches of space, creating little inches, avoiding shots and landing his own shots, little inches of foot movements, like these little small margins, and just finding those gaps in this to avoid strikes, still be in range, and then to explode and crack and find these openings like a calculated killer. I just think Adashev doesn't have that, and that's why he got caught in the last fight. A lot of winding up, a lot of aggression, and that just leaves you open for a technical fighter to exploit. And a guy like Mudaerji can definitely find it in all types of ways, whether it be to the body, to the leg, or to the head, with punches, knees, or kicks. I think Adashev is going to be stopped in the first round. I think, like I said, too much wind up. Mudaerji just going to step off for just a little bit, make him miss, crack him until he puts him away, and I think it's in the first round. So in this fight, I have Mudaerji via first round TKO. Now to our co-prelim headliner we have in the bantamweight division, Ricky Simón versus Gaetano Pirrello. In this one right here, I think Gaetano Pirrello is getting pushed too far too soon against Ricky Simón. Coming in as late notice, I think he has no areas where he can threaten Ricky Simón. I think Ricky Simón just boxes him up, stops any type of attempt he has or anything, and puts him away in the second round. So just a filling out process, getting used to this fighter, because it's a different opponent you didn't really train for. But then once he starts to find him and shut him down, I think he puts him away in the second round. So in this fight, I have Ricky Simón via second round TKO. Now to our prelim headliner, we have in the middleweight division, Omari Akhmedov versus Tom Breese. And this is another fight I have already predicted. It was on the last card, then it got moved to this card. But I see this fight here. Tom Breese is taller. Their reach is actually identical. But Omari Akhmedov, really in this fight, his striking, like, all he is a loopy puncher. He don't have not a really a technical striker. He can wrestle you, but he don't have no submission game, at least at this level. So I feel like Tom Breese is the better submission grappler. Tom Breese isn't really a slouch in his wrestling. So I feel like he can stuff most of the takedowns, if not all. If he goes to the ground, he can out-grapple Akhmedov off his back or on top, definitely on top. And on the feet, he just cleaner, sharper. I think he just makes Akhmedov gas himself out, make him miss, make him exert himself, and then just walk him into strikes and put him away. I think it's in the second round. So in this fight, I have Tom Breese via second round TKO. Now on to our main card. So in our first fight on the main card, we have in the featherweight division, Lerone Murphy versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. So in this fight, this is a striking match, definitely. And even try to go any other place, I think Murphy beats Andrade in every area. He's taller. He has like a 5-inch reach over him. He's faster and some phenomenal footwork, probably some of the best footwork in the whole UFC now, definitely. And this guy could be a problem for literally anyone in 145 or 55. Especially if he evolved, like literally anyone, even Khabib in the future. That's some high praise I'm giving right there, based on what I've seen in some of his fights. But yeah, not now, but in the future, which is we don't know what the future is yet, but high praise for Murphy. I think Murphy's bigger, longer, too fluid in footwork. And Andrade is just too stiff. And then I think Murphy got power, he got speed, he got fluidity, he's technical, way better boxing. I think he just picks apart the slower Andrade and just hits him whatever he wants to hit him and puts him away in that second round. So in this fight, I have Lerone Murphy via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Matt Schnell versus Tyson Nam. And I saw this fight right here, another fight I already predicted. Nam versus Schnell. I think Schnell is a solid, underrated boxer. Definitely some solid grappling as well. Definitely an experienced fighter, a technical fighter. But he does have he's not the strongest fighter. And he does have a questionable chin. It has been hit and been stopped by some very questionable strikes, some taps even at times. And going against Nam, a guy with power, a guy with experience, and a guy that can definitely find that mark on you, and a guy that definitely can put away people. I just don't think it pans out that well for Schnell. I don't think Schnell can take Nam down and have that most successful grappling, because Nam is a solid grappler as well. I'm not saying he's as good as Schnell on the ground, but he definitely is good enough to stuff some of his takedowns, a lot of his takedowns, and hold his own with on the ground and get back to his feet. And on the feet, like I said, Schnell's chin is just too much of a risk or too much glass, and Nam is too known for catching people and putting out even some big names. So you can't play around with Nam's power on the feet. I think this fight's gonna be on the feet too much. And Nam, even now, he's been like with his last two fights, he's been finding that mark, the same shot. I don't say that I'm not even say he's gonna find that same exact shot on Schnell. It's gonna open up and gonna crack Schnell. And like I said, Schnell's chin can't hold up to that type of power. And in 15 minutes, with a lot of this fight being on the feet, I think Nam finds it. I think he finds it early. So in this fight, I have Tyson Nam via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the women's flyweight division, Roxanne Modafferi versus Viviane Araujo. So looking at this one, Modafferi, really, it was actually for the fighter that didn't have any type of grappling defense. Not the best takedown defense, pillow hands in a way, and like she could take them down and work on them, or maybe a fighter that's kind of green in a way, or had some opening where she could find her opportunities and win. That's when Modafferi thrives. But going against Viviane Araujo, I don't really see any opportunity for her. She will have size, but Modafferi has never been the strongest fighter. And I think Viviane Araujo, maybe not as good of a grappler as her, but definitely overall a far more technical fighter, especially on the feet. And overall, I feel like she can stuff Modafferi's takedowns. I feel like she can outstrength Modafferi, and then she can bully Modafferi around the cage. I think that's the case. I think she can stuff her takedowns, picks her apart on the feet, busts her up, and beats her to a decision. I think Modafferi's gonna probably try to fall on her back a couple times and recover and just scrape her way to a decision. Like, not a victory decision, but like just survive to a decision. But I think this is pretty much a one-sided fight. only that's gonna make it interesting how much heart Modafferi has and tries to, make it a fight. But really, technically wise and all that stuff is not gonna be a fight, and stat wise, it's not gonna be a competitive fight. But she's gonna try to hold her own there. But Araujo just gonna be keep it where she's definitely has the advantage and just be picking apart Modafferi on the feet, stuffing her takedown, maybe even playing her guard a little bit. But outside of that, keeping it where she has all advantages and just picks her apart on the feet to a decision. So in this fight, I have Viviane Araujo via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Isaac Villanueva versus Vinicius Moreira. So looking at this one right here, Moreira, as we've seen, striking is mediocre, but he's a young fighter and he potentially could evolve. I'm just going to go based off what I've seen. If he does evolve, kudos to him, and maybe I'll pick you in the future, but highly doubt it. If Araujo can't get you to the ground, he gets knocked out. That's about it. His striking is mediocre. He's solid, like super solid on the ground, but on the feet, he's super not solid. And Isaac Villanueva, he's not an amazing fighter, but he has some solid, decent grappling of his own. He has decent takedown defense. He's an experienced veteran of the game. And I think he has enough skills to definitely keep it on the feet. And even if it does go to the ground, he'll definitely probably lose a round, but I think he can survive the submission game of Moreira. But more than anything, I just see him be able to keep this fight on the feet and put away Moreira in the first round via TKO. So in this fight, I have Isaac Villanueva via first round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the welterweight division, Warlley Alves versus Nurmagomedov Lazzez. And I see this one right here. I think Lazzez is the more technical striker. He definitely has more cardio. He definitely has more tools. He definitely, like I said, he's a sniper. Like Warlley Alves is like a battle hammer, and like got the gas tank of a battle hammer or something. Where he can destroy you in the first round. Like say you're a wrestler or like a one-dimensional fighter, he can stuff your takedown and bust you up all around. But we started pushing him back. Like say even Usman, who wasn't even that good of a striker at the time, was able to like barely even really wrestle him and just push him back. When you're able to be in his face, his cardio and everything starts to wane. Like, or if he does everything at you and you're able to endure it or avoid it, like really, you give him any type of fight on the feet and you make it an issue for him, or you push him harder than he wants to be pushed, then he just turns. His striking don't look that good no more. And he like I said, he doesn't look the best. But he definitely has good grappling. But I think Lazzez, like I said, good takedown defense, good scramble ability to get back to his feet. And more than anything, like Alves, like I said, his gas tank is not the best. And I think Lazzez is the better striker. He's longer, more accurate, less waste. But I do worry about his chin and how he backs up and his chin hangs high up. But in the last fight, he showed that he has a good chin. Like, it's still a good bet to kind of lean against that chin, because no matter how good your chin, if you leave yourself open all the time, yes, maybe one fight, your chin hold up. His chin held up, and then he just took the guy in the later rounds. But you can't always rely on your chin to save you. But I'm gonna allow him to rely on it again, and it's eventually be able to push it longer, take Alves out of the first round, and then Alves, like I said, Alves starts to fade, and then Lazzez, being a sniper like he is, I think he starts to pick him apart, and I think he puts him away early on in that third round. So in this fight, I have Nurmagomedov Lazzez via third round TKO. Now to our main event, we have in the welterweight division, Michael Chiesa versus Neil Magny. So this is the main event. You got Neil Magny versus Chiesa. Magny making some resurgence here. Chiesa finding like a lot of success in his new division. And now it's not even a new division. I think he's been in his division for like 2 years now. So in his division. And I just see this fight right here. I think Neil Magny is a solid fighter, and definitely if he can stuff some takedowns and keep this fight on the feet, this is his fight to win. Like, I mean, this is his fight. If he could keep, like, really neutralize Chiesa's game, maybe even take Chiesa down and stuff, and then start to take the fight to his pace, this definitely could be his fight on the feet. If he keeps us on the feet, or I don't know if he can pretty much neutralize or counteract or counter-program Chiesa's wrestling, then this is definitely his fight. But historically, Neil Magny has not looked good on his back. Like, anytime he gets taken down by a decent grappler, like Namaya or Dos Anjos or Moraes, it's like they just take him down and they just pass through his guard like butter and then tap him out like he's like he don't know MMA at all. Like he don't have any BJJ background or any type of MMA background, any type of stuff. Like he might as well be some guy off the street that don't know nothing about MMA, how bad he looks when he gets taken down by these people. Like I think Dos Anjos just kicked his leg out, took him down, submitted him in like 10 seconds. Maya took him down, submitted him in like 10 seconds. Sergio Moraes took him down, submitted him in like 10 seconds. Like, you might as well know nothing about MMA. Matter of fact, a guy that don't know nothing about MMA might survive long, because they'll probably do some stuff. They probably hold a shirt, bite your neck or something, bite your ear or something, then like some odd stuff that drag it out longer. But I had to just poke that dude in the eye, punch him in the throat or something, so he get off you, then you could tap him out. But either way, that's how bad Neil Magny be looking on the ground. So Neil Magny definitely has has some chance in this fight, but historically, I'm gonna lean to history and the fact that he gets taken down, and doesn't do the best here. And I think Chiesa's going to be able to take him down. I think Chiesa's like improvements in striking. I don't think going to be no strength advantage for either man. Matter of fact, I think Chiesa has a strength advantage. Magny has never been that physically strong guy. He has his moments, but yeah. So I just really think Chiesa's not going to have too much issue getting to the ground. I think Magny will be able to survive the first round, but then I think over the course of the fight, matter of fact, I'm going to go back to my original prediction. It's going to be a first round submission. So I just think it's going to be a decent fight for a little bit, but then once Chiesa starts to get some takedowns on him, whether it be a first or second takedown, I especially think after that second takedown, it's going to be all she wrote. And Magny going to land some ground and pound, transition, and then tap him out in that first round. So in this fight, I have Michael Chiesa via first round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of UFC on ESPN, Chiesa versus Magny. And as always, thanks for watching.